Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock, conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
This week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Kate Adams filling in for Roger Cador. Obviously, all the talk in South Louisiana and the state in general, for that matter, Kate. LSU defeating Clemson 42-25 to win the national championship. The way this season has unfolded, this couldn't have ended any other way, could it?
I mean, it was a storybook ending for LSU, a miraculous season. None of us even thought at the beginning of this season that this is what we would expect in the very end. So, I mean, it literally, you could make a movie, and they should make a movie off of this past year's season. It was incredible. So much for Clemson's 29-game winning streak. But at the end of the day, 29 wins aside, they had not played a team with the talent, the likes of LSU's 2019 season. No, they haven't. They really didn't have a very difficult schedule all year long, no matter what anyone tries to say. I mean, LSU definitely had probably the toughest schedule in all of college football for this particular season. And then when you go up against a school like Clemson, who really didn't play that, and I don't want to call it a cupcake schedule, but I'm going to say, but maybe a little bit more of a cupcake schedule compared to what LSU did all season. They're just not competing at that same level and caliber of competition, and so they were in for a shock when they went up against the LSU Tigers. Heisman Trophy winner Joe Burrow, offensive MVP, as it should have been. That guy, I don't think we're going to see another one like him for a very, very long time. If ever. If ever. He reminds me a lot of Drew Brees, his style play. Some people say Tom Brady. Personally, I believe he looks a little bit more like Drew Brees. Drew Brees is also his idol. He actually got the chance to meet him during the national championship, and I watched that, and what I thought was really actually cute was he looks at Brees, they're just meeting, he goes, you know, I know you probably hear this all the time, but you're the reason I'm a Saints fan, and you're the reason I wanted to play football, and I wanted to do everything that you did. And the reason why I wear number 9. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's insane. I thought that was incredible that they had the chance to meet the best number 9s, you know, in the state of Louisiana. I mean, number 9 for a quarterback in Louisiana, that is the number to have there. That's the number. Jamar Chase, absolute beast. 9 catches, 221 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Chase has been on fire all season long. Last night he really showed up, but he has all season. I want to say it, I don't have the exact number, but he's at least at like 22 touchdowns for the season or more. But I know it's at least that, which I think is one of the most touchdowns maybe, or it's in the top 3. It's got to be like in the top 3 or 5 for receivers to have that many touchdowns in a single season. As a sophomore, him producing like this, you wonder what we're going to see next year when we're already seeing the type of play he's got. A lot of Tiger fans were worried in the weeks leading up to the championship with that injury to Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
It was huge for him to come back and be a part of this team. And as has typified his performance all season, had some huge runs that kept us in this game.
Well, Coach O has said himself about Clyde in particular that there's no player like him. When he did get injured, they were trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do to replace him? Because you need like 3 or 4 guys to replace this one guy. I think LSU had around 180-something yards on the ground rushing last night. Clyde accounted for about 115 of those yards. Then Burrow accounted for the other part of the rushing yards. But Clyde is incredible, and what I love about him and his story is that he had a lot of doubters in the beginning when he came in. You're too short, you're not big enough, this and that, but that guy has proven that he is the guy on the ground that you want. And look, Clemson looks scared of Clyde. It looks like they didn't want to hit him.
Yeah. Well,
and I'd be scared too if I was going up against him.
There you go. Now you know why. How awesome was it for the Tigers to win the national championship once again in their home state?
I mean, the fact with starting with Coach O from Louisiana, his lifelong dream to be head coach of LSU Tigers. You're in New Orleans. That's one of the best places we have here in our state, especially playing in the Superdome. I mean, there's just so many things for our state to be able to play and win that national championship in New Orleans. I mean, it takes the sour taste out of the last national championship we played in New Orleans, and it was so special for this whole entire state, all the LSU fans and everybody involved. Well,
when we come back, we will revisit highlights and continue our conversation of LSU's historic 2019 season when Kate Adams and yours truly continues on the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Break out of the chaos.
Hi folks, Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show, but as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at Scoreboards, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach? Told you.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Welcome back for segment 2 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Kate Adams filling in for the coach, Roger Cador. Kate, a lot of fans were worried about the slow start, but you know, sometimes field position dictates what you can and cannot do, especially in a game as big as this one.
Well, that's exactly right. And what a lot of people, I don't think, take into consideration is this is a national championship game. So it's not going to be like a lot of our other regular season games when we're racking up the score. And this is definitely the best team that we played all season long. So you also got to realize that Dabo Swinney with his Clemson Tigers, his main thing is, hey guys, we're the underdogs.
Right.
So he had his team fired up when they came out. And you could see that. You could see it by the way they were playing and everything that they were doing. I do think it took LSU a second to kind of get comfortable and get into the rhythm of the game, but once they got that rhythm and once they realized their confidence level and what they could do, and they knew they were the better team, they came out there and executed. It just took them a second, and the penalties, they were killing our momentum. And then you had, I will say, some of the Clemson guys, and this was driving me nuts, flopping back and forth, just killing
Right.
Every time we had a drive that really started gaining momentum and bringing kind of that game back for the Tigers, all of a sudden a little flop, take all the momentum away, or a timeout, or a penalty, or this and that. And so it did take LSU a second, but once they got going, they never stopped.
Well, let's toss to the highlights as Kate and I continue our conversation. We'll let the guys in the truck roll the highlights for us. This was the first time all season that LSU had trailed by double digits. But the thing that really caught my eye was that there was no panic either among the team or the coaching staff, was there?
No, Clarence, there really wasn't. Even if you watch the interview with Joe Burrow at the end of the game, they asked him about that. And he said, look, this is the national championship. I came here to play the game. I had to do what I had to do, and that was get the win.
The Tigers answered Clemson at every turn, something they've done all season long. It's like they all know just how to do that.
Here they go right here. As you see in this play, answering Clemson right then and there. I think it all starts with Joe Burrow. He can't stand to even make a mistake. He wants to play every game 100% perfect if he could. And so I think when Clemson starts to score, he doesn't want his Tigers, one, to trail at all. But if they are trailing, all right, guys, we got to get back on our A game and get another TD right here.
LSU had arguably the biggest, quote, statement drive of the game, going 95 yards in just under 3 minutes to take that 11-point lead before halftime. That was huge, Kate.
Honestly, I thought that I would get more surprise. They never cease to surprise me. They keep on doing more and more and more. And speaking of it, I'm laughing because I've started thinking about the draft for some reason, and I saw a thing that says the Cincinnati Bengals will take LSU, just the whole team, because this team is phenomenal. It's miraculous what they can do, and to get a touchdown in that little a time, and just to answer the way that they did all night long to Clemson was incredible.
The receiving core, obviously, the wideouts had monster nights, but tight end Thaddeus Moss continued his great play with some key catches when LSU needed them.
Moss is incredible. He's another younger guy on our team. I mean, of course, he's the son of Randy Moss, so, I mean, what do you got to say there? But the way he is able to move his body, it's like alien-like almost. I don't even know how he puts his body into some of the positions that he does, but he does so in a way where he just barely gets it, but he's able to get amazing touchdowns in that way.
You've got to give Clemson some credit. They are a good team, but like most teams the Tigers have played this year, they just don't have the number and the caliber of athletes that Coach O and the staff have assembled at LSU.
Well, Clemson this year, they had a young team. I think they had about 80 guys out of 120 who were freshmen and sophomores on this year's team. So to have that amount of your team that young and still make it to a national championship is incredible. It shows you just how talented they are. But in the end, this year, LSU had the better team.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use that Cincinnati Bengals will take as the first pick LSU. I like that one. I like that one. When we come back, segment 3 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Break out of the chaos.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be.
Call Go Tax Resolution in Mandeville at 985-722-1040 today.
We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help.
Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Mandeville at 985-722-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Welcome back to segment 3 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Kate Adams filling in for the coach, Roger Cador. Let's talk a little defense, Kate. LSU's defense, after giving up an early score like they have for the last 4 or 5 games of the season, came out and played with a huge chip on their shoulder.
They did. They definitely did. I think not all of the fans, especially in the first quarter, were real pleased with our defense. Maybe didn't feel like they were stepping up, but they did. The defense did come out there and do what they needed to do. They're not as crazy dominant as our offense is. When you have an offense like we do, to try to compare the offense and the defense, it's not really a fair comparison, I want to say, but our defense still did an incredible job. I mean, goodness, with Grant Delpit, with Patrick Queen, I mean, with all the tools and weapons that we have back there, they did an amazing job last night.
Let's go ahead and roll. We'll re-rack the highlights because we're going to be watching these highlights as LSU fans at least until next year. LSU linebacker Patrick Queen, defensive MVP. That is a great story for a humble young man from the small town of Livonia, Louisiana.
Yeah, Clarence, I mean, we were just talking about this off air. He is very humble. He's so thankful to just even be in the position that he's in. And before this year, he was kind of always behind Devin White. So this was really his time to shine. This was his game. I mean, literally, he shined in the best game you could play the best in, which was the national championship, gets defensive MVP, and I thought he was one of the main reasons for all the momentum that we did get on defense last night.
I heard a stat, I think, that said Clemson was 1 of 9 on third down conversions. That's unreal defense for LSU.
It was really unreal. The fact that we were able to hold them and not allow them to convert on those third downs really is what saved us. LSU was about 50% probably last night on their third down conversions. The thing is, what LSU was able to do was they made those conversions when it mattered most.
Yeah. So I've got to ask 2 questions. I've got to ask. One, what did you make of the officiating last night?
Well, there were some moments where I didn't look. There was actually a call on LSU I didn't think they called towards the very end of the game on Chason, which I thought could have
targeting.
The targeting that was to me that was targeting, and they had just called it not too long ago on Clemson's guy. But we didn't get that call, and then for some reason I can't think of it. But there was one call they didn't call when Clyde put his hand outside of the live playing field and. Luckily, we hurried up and got the next playoff, but if they would have reviewed that, we would have lost some yards on that. So there were some things that worked in LSU's favor. There's also some things that worked against us. But all in all, officials are human beings, and I thought they played the best. I thought they called the best they could last night in that game.
Speaking of questions that I've got to ask, 15-0, you beat 7 top 10 teams. You've got the Heisman Trophy winner, Defensive Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, Offensive Line of the Year, Coach of the Year, Assistant Coach of the Year, most points ever scored by a college football team. We're talking greatest of all time, aren't we?
I think so, Clarence. I mean, even everyone on the broadcast last night said it. This is pretty much probably the greatest college football team to ever play in the history of college football. Everything you just said, we beat 7 top 10 teams. Out of those 7 teams, 4 of those teams were ranked in the top 4 in the preseason AP polls. It's just, but it's not even that. Everybody thought we were underdogs. Nobody wanted Coach O to be coach. Nobody thought Clyde could do anything. Joe Burrow was benched at Ohio State. I mean, everything just came together perfectly to create the season that we had.
Well, we've got some breaking news. Don't know how breaking it will be by the time you see the show, but we'll take our final commercial break and we'll come back and talk about that and more with Kate Adams on The Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg, we just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Hi folks, Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show, but as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at scoreboards. Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach? Mm-hmm. Told you. Welcome back for the final segment of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Kate Adams filling in, as always, admirably for Roger Cador. The breaking news this evening is that Coach Joe Brady is now off to Carolina, back in the ranks of the NFL. What's the first thing that goes through your mind, Kate?
Just how lucky LSU was to have him this year, to learn his coaching style, the spread offense, what he brought to the table for the LSU Tigers, for him and Steve Ensminger to do the job that they did this season. The other thought that comes to mind is, well, I'm devastated. I wish he was staying with us longer. I know that LSU, he did sign something with LSU to potentially stay on. It wasn't in full effect. He's very sought after across the whole entire country, not for just NFL jobs, but for also other college positions. Obviously, this guy, I've met him a few times. He's young, he's bright, he knows what he's talking about, and everyone wants a piece of Joe Brady. They saw what he did for the LSU Tigers this season. The thing is, he, like everyone, wants to be able to grow in his job. And as you see now with so many guys getting elected to be NFL head coaches, young like he is, the guy's only 30 years old, but maybe in a couple of years he may have the potential to be a head coach for an NFL team. So really that seems like this is the stepping stone, if that was a goal of his to get there, and that would be the right opportunity for him. So I always applaud anyone to go to follow their dreams, but we'll be really unfortunate to see him go.
Of course, now the good news in all of this equation would have to be that Joe Brady has elevated the bar to a point now where, yeah, Coach O is going to have to find somebody else, but I got to imagine there are a whole lot of agents that are going to be calling LSU saying, our guy would love to be a part of what you've got going at Louisiana State University.
Well, I agree. I mean, I just think with what the LSU staff has done this season, starting with Coach O and then trickling down to the assistants and the coordinators and that sort of thing, is he has set a new standard for college football. He set the standard across the board, and it's for LSU football in particular. And now that the nation has been able to see what LSU can do and the staff that surrounds it, the culture, the people, everything about this state, the university, and that we have going on, they're definitely going to want to be a part of it.
Is there a more deserving coach than Coach O to finally have all of the stars line up in the football heavens?
I don't think so. Honestly, it makes me so proud for him to be able to have this national championship, because now he can forever be a national champion for LSU. Not only was it his dream to be the coach of the LSU Tigers, but now he is a national champion. And just the way that this season went and the way that everything happened and how it played out was amazing. And for a guy like him, he's gone through a lot of adversity, a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, throughout his whole entire life. Even earlier this season, his wife has some medical issues and different things like that. To see what he's gone through and to see him persevere and to continue doing what he's doing to get to where he is now, and just to enjoy life the way he does, and to enjoy every day and to lead those players and make them better people. And he even makes the people around him better people. When you're around him, you can feel his positive energy and the type of person he is. And I really am so proud that he was able to get that national championship last night.
And you can feel his love for Louisiana. I'm so proud of him when he's asked about the adversity and the like. Many times he'll tell you, well, look, I'm used to, you know, people making fun of me. They make fun of my accent. They make fun of how I look. But I use that as internal motivation. Now, that being said, what do you think this win means for the state of Louisiana?
Well, I just think it starts over again. We are a powerhouse school. This is going to help LSU continue year after year, not just this year, but year after year, to continue to play like this, to continue to do great things like this. Not only LSU did an amazing job this season, the Saints did. Even though that they didn't go all the way through the playoffs, they did great. UL did. All of our universities, our professional teams, our colleges, our high schools, across the board, sports in Louisiana, this was a great year to be a sports fan here.
Speaking of Louisiana sports fans, there was a group that anonymously gifted a trip to the game for a family from Joe Burrow's hometown in Ohio to watch him play in the national championship. What does that say about the people here in Louisiana?
That they are so grateful that Joe Burrow came to LSU, and they are literally willing to do anything for any of these people, because we're just so grateful to have him here to play for our team, to bring us the national championship, to bring us a Heisman, to bring us an undefeated season, and to just the type of person he is, how genuine, how much he cares about others and genuinely wants to make a difference in other people's lives. I think LSU fans want to be able to reciprocate that.
I know first and foremost we are diehard Saints fans, but how many Louisiana folks do you think are going to become secondary Cincinnati Bengal fans?
Well, I don't think they're going to. I think they'll always root for Joe, though.
Yeah, they will definitely always root for Joe Burrow. It has been a magical ride. Hopefully, all of you have taken the time to enjoy it. Kate, as always, thank you kindly for filling in for Coach Roger Cador. I'm Clarence Buggs. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. We love you much.